collectives. The annual grant cycle focuses primarily on supporting art that incites public dialogue, pushes boundaries, explores genre fluidity, speaks its truth through an authentic perspective, and is often non-traditional, anti-institutional, socially responsible, or disruptive of any existing structures and conventions. Learn more and apply at collectivepowerNW.org.
Hello, listener. What's important to you about what's going on in your community? Are you interested? Are you concerned? In any case, I invite you to tune into my show, Seattle Here and Now, on Rainier Avenue Radio App. Why? I will be covering a wide range of topics important to you and impacting the community. Each show will have a special guest or guests to share with you information on a variety of subjects that are happening here and now in Seattle. I promise I will work hard to make my show informative, interesting, and entertaining. Be sure to listen to Seattle Here and Now on Rainier Avenue Radio.world.
Support Rainier Avenue Radio comes from Black Art Legacies, a multimedia project highlighting the vital role of Black artists and Black arts organizations, past and present, across the Northwest cultural landscape. Black Arts Legacies include video, photos, and written profiles highlighting 26 local artists and their unique contributions to the arts in Seattle and beyond. Visit crosscut.com/BAL to explore the artists, download podcasts, and more.
You're listening to Rainier Avenue Radio.world. Check us out on social media, Facebook and Instagram, Rainier Avenue Radio.world, and on Twitter at Rainier Ave Radio.
Welcome to Real Estate and Money, a half-hour program on Rainier Avenue Radio.world designed to help you whether you're a buyer, seller, investor, or renter in real estate. Your hosts are two local professionals who will escort you on your journey. Violeta Strash, who has years of media advertising and marketing experience and brings this extensive knowledge to John L. Scott Real Estate and all our clients. And Tina Lombard, who is a mortgage loan originator with guaranteed rate Affinity, with over 28 years of experience. And now here's Violeta and Tina.
Hi. Oh, you're muted, Tina.
There I am. You can hear me now. Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Wow. Thank you for joining us. Can you hear me well?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay.
Yes.
Great. Well, I'm coming at you from a restaurant called Loaded here in downtown Denver, and I'm with a special guest today, but we'll get to hear it in a second. So thank you for joining our show. I'm Tina Lombard with Guarantee Rate Affinity.
And I'm Violeta Strash with John L. Scott.
Great. So today we're starting off our second week where we're talking about women and security and safety. So you want to stick around for that. I'm going to bring on a very special guest, Miss Amanda Hardin, in just a few minutes here. But before we get to that, we want to talk to you about some important updates.
Whoa. Okay. I don't know. Here, let me. Okay, there. Better?
Yes.
All right. Should I start with my market updates, everyone?
Please do.
Okay. Here we go. King County. In the past week, we have had 828 homes active out there on the market, with 523 homes sold in this past week at an average price of $1,204,000. Last year at the same time, we were selling at $1,125,000. So that was a 7% increase from year to year. I'm not going to go into the days on the market and all that right now because we have a lot to talk about. And so I'm going to move on to Pierce County, where we have 340 homes listing out there and 221 sold last week, in the past week, at an average price of $891,000, up 11.5% year to year to $798,000 this year as an average price. And then, I'm sorry, that was Snohomish County. And then Pierce County, we're looking at 359 homes active and 271 homes sold at an average price of $657,000, up from $588,000 on an average price, at an 11.5% increase there as well. So there you have our quick market update.
Great.
And so, Tina, you've got mortgage info for us?
Yes. We've got some more mortgage info. Daniel, I just sent you the link really quick. Just to let you know, interest rates jumped up sharply yesterday. So if you were on the bandwagon last Friday, you're now having the privilege of taking our new interest rates. The interest rates now have got a 30-year high, 30-year fixed average of 5.875. So, yeah, let's pull up the screen. This is according to NerdWallet. As you can see, the rates jumped up 5.875 across the board. The APR of 5.9. If you want to scroll down just a little bit more, Daniel, you'll see how it went up. It went up. It went down a little bit last week, and then it's like it caught its breath, and then boom, it's back up. So I was pricing some loans this afternoon, and my loans are a little bit more current than this graph here. But I was pricing loans at 6.25.
Oh my gosh!
So they're going back up. Now remember, last month the same thing happened. It went over to 6.75 or 6.5, and then it came back down sharply in a day. I have 2 purchases today that I'm locking, and I'm going to lock them at 6%. But if the rates should go down to 5.3 in the next week or two, we're going to swap those rates out and renegotiate down to a lower rate. So for those people out there, and Daniel, thank you for showing that. We're done with that now. But for those people out there, now the rates have gone up over 6%. There's going to be a lot of people saying, oh, no, I'm not doing this. This is crazy. This is your time, ladies and gentlemen, to go out there and make an offer on that house, because chances are, if everybody stops making loans, the prices of interest rates are going to come down. And when they come down, you'll have your property under contract, and you can renegotiate to whatever it is, 5.3, 5.5. You'll be able to snag that lower rate. So do not hesitate.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So if that makes sense, don't stop buying. Values are still being appreciated.
Well, I still have buyers out there. And I have a seller coming on board, but nobody's really stopping as far as I'm concerned. So don't hesitate, everyone. Just keep going, because there are deals to be had right now. If you have a good real estate agent and an awesome lender like Tina, your team's going to get this done for you.
Superstar. Well, you know what? I took 10 applications last week, and 2 of them I took on Saturday. We put an offer in on Sunday and actually got contracts signed today. That hasn't happened since 2006 or something. This is ridiculous. So for whatever reason, there's a lot of applications going on right now. And if you guys are not scared of those rates, snatch that house. Okay. Sellers are getting a little bit scared, so they're more willing to negotiate with you.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And with things being on the market a little bit longer, they definitely are. You're seeing price reductions, and then you're not seeing a lot of multiple offers. So your offer will be entertained real easily these days.
This is it. So, before we get into our break, V, do you mind if I introduce our guest today?
Oh, please do.
And I have some people with the Asian Real Estate Association of Colorado behind us. I'm going to have them do a shout out really quick too. But first of all, let's introduce my friend, Amanda Hardin. Yes.
Hi, Amanda.
Lipstick Tactical. Okay.
All right.
So, Amanda, tell us a little bit about yourself so we can tease the audience before we go into our break.
Yeah, I am a commercial real estate broker, but I also, many, many years ago, used to be sponsored to compete and shoot professionally in the firearms industry. It was just hobby at that time, but then after a personal incident with myself where I was stalked, I realized that I needed to take self-defense into my own hands, and I started learning how to conceal carry a firearm and other types of self-defense and safety. And it's just over the years turned into a company where women love to train with Lipstick Tactical, because it's very important that we all take care of ourselves and each other.
Right. Yes. Right. So, we want to make sure that that our viewers are safe. So Amanda's going to talk to us a little bit about self-defense, and particularly your home, how to make your home safe, and so on and so forth. But if you don't mind, I'm gonna grab this camera real quick. I'm gonna go say hi to some folks, okay?
Yes.
So hold on for a second. Hold on. So the Asian Real Estate Association is the largest Asian nonprofit in the U.S., boasting 17,000 members, and we are here in Denver. So I'm gonna surprise these folks really quick. They don't know that. Excuse me, guys. I'm live on TV doing my television show. We want to say hi.
Hello.
Hi. Hello. Planning our event.
Aria. Hi.
Yes, Jack is here at Loaded, and he is one of the event planners here. But we just want to say hi since we're here. Thank you. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fun group.
Yes. Okay. So, and Amanda actually is our commercial chair, and I'm a past president board member chair. So that's what we're doing here. But
Yes. It's 3:30, 3:40 your time on a Monday, and you're already partying. I love it.
I know.
We live by work hard, play hard.
I like that motto. Yes.
But it's really something. We're in downtown Denver, and this is like the area where everything's popping. There's a lot of commercial activity going on. There's a lot of condos around here. But me and Amanda have came down here several times, and there's safety even after we leave our home. So this is a good place for us to be, because if you're a young lady and you're coming here by yourself, there's safety that's an issue. Are people going to follow you home from here? That sort of thing. Where do you park your car? So on and so forth. So you guys want to stick around. Are we ready for break now? We have a few more minutes.
Go ahead, Daniel.
Tune into Real Estate and Money every Tuesday afternoon from 2:30 to 3 here on Rainier Avenue Radio.world. Join your hosts Violeta Strash with John L. Scott Kent North and Tina Lombard with Guaranteed Rate Affinity. They'll help you navigate the waters of our volatile real estate market and offer you some guidance on how to make your hard-earned money work to make your dreams come true. Learn about current trends, get tips on financial matters, and have fun, interactive discussions about your home inside and out. That's Real Estate and Money.
Okay.
Great. So one of the things, V and I have been talking about, and V was very, very instrumental in saying, hey, Tina, we need to do something on security for it. Whether you live with a man or you don't live with a man, our house is supposed to be our fortress. It's supposed to be a place where we are safe and we feel safe and we can run for refuge. So while Amanda's getting something really quick, V, tell our audience why it's important to you as a lady to have security in your home.
Well, if, like, say, in my case, too, my spouse is traveling, it's a big home, a lot of entry points. Am I going to feel secure? I have a dog. Yeah, she's going to be a great watchdog for the house, but still, there's so many places people can get into the house. If you don't have a security system, what are you going to do?
Right.
Everybody can get a dog, but what about all your belongings that you value? And how do you protect those and protect your children if they're young in another room, part of the house? Just, personal protection, and as well as personal, your belongings, your mobile stuff that you. Everything's expensive these days. Your electronics, for example.
Exactly. Yeah, because I was saying I have a dog and it's vicious, but you give him a chicken wing or a steak.
He's best friend.
Yeah, best friend. Yeah. I don't care who open the door for you. Like, come on in.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go ahead and go into our subject here. Let's talk to Amanda a little bit. Amanda, what are some of the things when a woman buys a house as a realtor? What would you say to start looking for and start planning?
It's really easy to walk through your house with the eye of a robber, which sounds kind of weird to say, but it will really help you find your points of vulnerability in your home. And we all have them. For example, if you have an attached garage on your home and you're coming in, you're pulling into the garage, closing the garage door behind you, but then some people actually leave their keys in their car, which obviously if someone gets into your garage, which is fairly easy to do. It's fairly easy to clone those garage door codes, to make different remotes, and even just to get those doors to open up. It's fairly easy to do that. So your car is at risk there. But then a lot of us, when we have those attached garages, we feel this false sense of security once that garage door closes, and we may leave the door into the house unlocked.
Right.
And if that door is unlocked, obviously you've created just easy access for someone to come in. So it's not to create a sense of paranoia. You don't ever want to do that. You want to walk through life feeling like you have to be scared of everything. It's very proactive measures you can take. Something as simple as making sure that garage door is locked in case your garage door is ever somehow opened. And then when you go through your house, we can go all the way from no self-defense items or weapons in the home to owning and safely operating a firearm in the home. I'll start the conversation as if we're not going to own a firearm in the home. Very simple things you can do around the house. You can go to the thrift store and buy a set of golf clubs or some baseball bats. And you can actually just leave them strategically around the house. And those are very powerful weapons, obviously. And then it's also can feel safe if you have younger kids in the house. of course, there could be issues where they're picking those bats and golf clubs up. But then they could even be sitting out when company comes over, and it's not odd. Like, oh, you have a weapon, and it really is a weapon. I keep a baseball bat by my bed. My daughter keeps a baseball bat by her bed. We've got a few strategically placed around the house. And it gives a sense of security. And you don't really think about it. You don't think about being vulnerable until you hear that bump in the night.
Yeah.
And then your mind immediately goes to, oh no, what do I do now? So having a plan ahead of time makes sense. You mentioned having children in the home. It's okay to talk to them about this. I think sometimes we don't want to talk to our children about it because we think we're going to make them feel afraid or like something bad's going to happen. If they are out in society at all ever, they know that bad things happen. They hear the news, unfortunately. In every city, I don't think there's a single city in the United States that has not seen a dramatic spike in crime. It's just the reality of where we are. Police officers are having a very hard time responding. I have talked to 3 clients on a real estate level in the past 24 hours. Each one of them told me about a robbery that they had been part of just recently. It blew my mind. And then one gentleman I spoke with, he said someone had been camping outside of his home, which is a growing problem in Denver. He said he'd been there for quite a few days and that he went outside and was just going to gently ask him, hey, could you maybe move on now? You've been camping outside my home for quite a while. And he went up to speak to the man that had been camping outside his home, and he became very violent with him, with the homeowner. Told him that he was going to murder him. He was going to murder his children. This just happened in the last week. So the homeowner called the police, and it took an hour and a half for the police to get there. So we are our own first responders, for better or for worse right now. Our personal safety is up to us. Again, we don't have to be paranoid about it. But I'm going to stop and see if you have any questions or things you want to say. But we'll kind of walk through the house and talk about different things we can do for safety.
So you say bring the kids in as part of the plan. It's not just an adult plan, because
Absolutely.
They can be by themselves, or they can hear something can go through their bedroom or what have you.
Absolutely. So, and you can even have a code word. So if something were to happen during the night, someone broke into your home, having a code word that you yell out to your children, that might mean lock your doors. And then I do go all the way to firearm safety in the home. If you are protecting your home with a firearm, you have to think about wall penetration. Unlike the movies, the rounds stop in the wall, those will penetrate the wall. So you need to, if you choose to use a firearm in your home for self-defense, sit in those areas that you're the most vulnerable, which the first one we all think of is our bedroom at night. So if I were to fire my firearm from my bed at night into my hallway, after I've clearly identified my target, if that round does miss the intruder, where does it go after that? Is it going to go into a bathroom? Is it going to go into my child's room? And if that's the case, that code word will tell your child to move to a specific area of the bedroom. Perhaps it's lock the door and then move to a specific area of the bedroom. Or if you hear this other code word, it means, run into mom's bedroom or run into mom and dad's bedroom. And then changing the locks on your door. It's very easy to break a door open. Just putting a lock with bigger screws into the door jamb will make it harder to break that door open and breach that door. Some people do go so far as to put deadbolts on their bedroom doors and create like a safe room. That's absolutely fine. There's no reason not to do that. It's a great way you can defend yourself. And like I said, the reason I got into that is because I did get stalked many years ago. I was a single mom and my children were very young. And that's when I realized one day we accidentally tripped our alarm system in the house, and it was directly connected to the police department. It took, at the time, this seemed like an eternity. It took 15 minutes for them to respond. That's when I realized that, if something happens in 15 minutes, it's going to be over. So, fortunately, nothing ever escalated from that. But that's when I realized that I really needed to take my safety and my children's safety very, very seriously and take a lot of personal ownership for that.
So let's talk about that really quick, because I mentioned guns last week, and V was saying, oh my gosh, guns, And I was like that too, but now I'm in Colorado, it's kind of like the wild, wild west. Everybody's got guns, so on and so forth. But there's a proper way to handle that. There's a proper way to train. And women think, oh, this is a men's thing. I don't need it. But maybe, Amanda, you could talk to us about the benefits of having a gun and being able to have your concealed carry, license, and just the benefits of a woman if she chooses to have a gun.
Absolutely. And you have to think, if statistically, if a woman is attacked, it's most likely going to be a man. We could drill that down even more and say it's probably going to be a man that she knows, unfortunately. But statistically, it's going to be a man. Men do tend to be larger and more powerful than women, no matter how much we lift and how mighty and tough we think we are. They can overpower us very quickly. So while you could have things around the home, the baseball bats, maybe some mace, different items that might buy you some time, you really have to really think that through to the end. If I did hit an intruder into my home with a baseball bat, what do I do next? What happens after that? Do I go and lock myself in a bedroom? Am I calling 911? Am I leaving out of a window? Which there are pros and cons to that. So for me personally, a firearm made sense. I started having firearms in the home from when my children were very young. Again, like Tina said, it sounds kind of scary, but really it's not hard to safely have a firearm in your home. They have safes, like what you would traditionally think of, the very large safes that are very heavy, sit on the floor. That's for the firearms that are for sporting, for play shooting, for the different types of competitions I used to shoot, for even hunting maybe. Then you have firearms that you can have in the home that are for self-defense. And those safes are made where they generally hold just one firearm. And there's some type of mechanism where the way they pop open, it presents the firearm so that you just reach in and grab it. It can be biometric where you just put a fingerprint on it. And so I literally had a loaded firearm by my bed at all times with my children in the home. And it was in one of those biometric safes. They were aware of it. I think demystifying things like firearms in the home is very important. And then again, firearm conversations in general should be something that we have with our children, because you don't know if they go to somebody's home. You don't know if that homeowner is a firearm owner as well. And hopefully we're all being responsible with how we store our firearms. But I would not, in this day and age, I would not put any trust in what anyone else is doing. So and you can have age appropriate conversations, and you might be surprised to hear this, but there's a whole lot of books that are written for children about firearms. And it's just kind of like maybe the Birds and the Bees books that maybe our parents gave us when we were little, almost kind of similar to that. Like, what do you do if you find a firearm when you're at your friend's house? And then, like I said, it's age specific. Sometimes it's don't touch it, go tell an adult. As they get older, as my children got older, they learned how to clear the firearm to make sure it was safe and then get it to an adult. So demystifying it, really, my children were never interested in it. They did not care that there was a firearm in the home. They honestly felt safer. They also knew that pulling pranks was not a thing we did in our home. Sometimes people want to sneak up on you, scare you, do weird stuff in the middle of the night. So just recently, my adult son came to visit, and it was shortly after I had moved into a new home in Denver, and someone came into my backyard and was stealing things off of my back patio. Quite unfortunate. Like I said, crime in Denver has really gone up, just as in every city. But my son was passing through town, was spending the night, and the motion detector light came on in the back. And it was right before the sun was coming up, and the light came in the window and it woke him up. And he looked out and he said, there was someone stealing your bicycle off of the back porch. So he said, he goes, I didn't know what to do. He goes, I almost yelled, get the gun, just to try and scare this burglar off. He goes, but then I thought you really would bring the firearm. So he just started beating on the window, and that was enough. Completely caught the person off guard, and they dropped my bicycle and ran away. But, you can have these very safe conversations with your kids and empower them. They really, truly are going to feel safer. They're going to feel more confident as they get older. You could put them through a lesson at the range that just shows them how to safely operate that firearm. You can find in the news many, many stories where teenagers who were living at home have actually defended their home from intruders, either being home by themselves or someone breaks into the home, the mother has been grabbed, and then the teenage son perhaps gets hold of that firearm and helps. And it's a weird, like I said, it's a weird conversation to have. It's a weird subject to talk about, but it's also even worse to not be prepared.
Well, it's something, because I'm glad you brought that up, because my son at the age of 17 actually came home twice to burglars in my room, sitting in my room, and wiping out our Xboxes and everything else. And he ran and grabbed his chocolate. He grabbed his chocolate sticks or something. But there are situations where your kids are at home and they do defend you. So it's a very healthy conversation, I believe, to have.
And my daughter, when she was younger, she loved having that baseball bat. It made her feel very secure and confident that maybe her and her brother would be at home, and her brother was a teenager and she's in middle school, and it makes her feel good at night to have it by her bed. It makes her feel like she has control over a potentially bad situation. It has not instilled any fear in either one of my children. I would say they both feel more confident and secure than they would if I had not had these conversations with them.
And it's something, I'm glad you brought this up too, because my daughter Mariah actually was in our driveway about a year ago.
That's right.
Yeah, and three guys in a car actually followed her SUV. They followed her, and it was in the snow. They followed her. It's like 2:00 in the morning, and she was in the car texting. She should not have done. She should have went straight to the house. So they actually came up to her and they started banging on the window with a loaded gun and with a marker that was pointing to her head. And they said, "Open up the door right now. Go down the window. Open up the door." She wasn't scared of guns because she actually has taken lessons and, through police and through Amanda and everything. And she just knew time frames or whatever, but she backed up really quick and almost ran them over. And that's how she got out of that situation. But her fear, if she had a fear of guns, it would have been a different situation. But she was like, I know what it would take to do this and this and that and this and that. So she backed up really quick, but it was her lack of fear that actually saved her.
You know what I'm afraid of, Amanda? I'm afraid of the sound that the guns make. I can't even be around popping balloons.
Sure.
That's how scared I am.
That is something that definitely has to be overcome. When I train with new shooters, I go ahead and talk to them about that. I say, go ahead and mentally prepare for that sound. And then that just becomes something that you have to desensitize to. In a true moment of self-defense, though, you're going to have such a huge adrenaline dump that's going to be the last thing you even notice in that situation. On the range, when things are calm and controlled.
Are guns really heavy that I miss or, aim at something else? Or
is the gun heavy?
Are our guns pretty heavy? Or are there lightweight guns for women?
Absolutely. Yeah, there's larger guns and smaller guns and guns that fit little hands and big hands and guns that are harder to rack and easier to rack. The firearm industry has responded to women are some of the biggest buyers of firearms now. And they have responded with appropriate firearms for women. And women at the range is a very common thing now. You can find women's only training classes. You can find companies like Lipstick Tactical that cater to women. I do offer training for men, but all my messaging and branding is clearly for the female population because I think sometimes women feel like they have to get real tough and maybe start wearing cargo pants all the time because they own a firearm. And I generally am in a skirt, my makeup, and that's why my company is called Lipstick Tactical. It's a total play on who I am. I still want to be very feminine, but I travel alone. I live alone. I go into warehouses by myself. I'm in vulnerable positions often.
So, anyways, that's all. I think we're down to time. I think Daniel off the side, but Amanda, thank you so much.
Sure. Thank you, Amanda.
Yeah. My website is lipsticktactical.com. And if y'all have any questions, commercial real estate or safety related, 303-929-8152.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. See you in 2 weeks. We're not on next week, remember, Tina? So in 2 weeks, I want to talk about real estate, women and safety. How about that?
Perfect.
You guys are both in that industry. We are, all three of us. So let's talk some more. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. See you next time. Bye-bye.
You've been listening to Real Estate and Money with your hosts Violeta, Strash, and Tina Lombard. For more information, call 206-717-4490. That's 206-717-4490. Go to the Rainier Avenue Radio.world website to find the Real Estate and Money schedule, or tune into our live show every Tuesday afternoon from 2:30 to 3. We will help you find your dream.